Hi, I'm Colton with Porsche Center Calgary, and I'm here today with a very, very special vehicle. So we're going to shoot this video a little bit differently than the other ones we've done in the past. This is an exceptionally rare car, as the name suggests. This is a 2016 Panamera Turbo S exclusive series, and it is very, very exclusive and a car that I think is very much underappreciated. So I'm going to invite you to take a bit of a closer look at it with me and dive into some of what makes it so unique and special. But before we do all that, just on the note of exclusivity, I wanted to drive home a little bit just how rare and exclusive this car is. So Porsche, of course, has done a few, exclusive numbered cars in recent years. Cars like, if we go back to 2014, they did the 911 50th anniversary edition. Really, really cool car. And they built 1,963 of those cars. So, it was a difficult car to get, and they're holding their value very well, but we did see a few through the dealership. And then, of course, there was the 991 Speedster that we just saw recently. They built 1,948 of those cars. So there too, we saw a couple of them, but very rare. You're quite lucky if you managed to get one of those cars. And then they had the 911R. They built 991 of those cars, and they were only given to people who had bought the 918 Spider, or there was a few extras that were made available by a lottery, so you kind of had to be, again, very lucky to have one of those. If we go back a little bit further than that, they did the 997 Speedster. They only built 356 of those cars. I've never laid eyes on one of those. And then the 911 Sport Classic in 2010, they built 250 of those cars. Again, a car I've never even seen. And then the car that we're standing with today, this Panamera exclusive series, they only built 100 examples for the world. So it really is exceptionally rare. This particular one is number 23 of 100. So it's quite special for us to actually have one in inventory. This is a car that most people will never actually have the opportunity to see, never mind actually purchase from a Porsche store with a certified pre-owned warranty. So it's very, very unique and a really cool opportunity. So now let's dive a little bit into this car. So as I said, it is a Panamera Turbo S exclusive. So it starts out, like any other Turbo S. It has the 4.8 liter V8 twin turbo motor. It makes 570 horsepower, and it can go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.9 seconds. So the performance is absolutely there. They also have Porsche dynamic chassis control, the active suspension management, the air suspension. You have torque vectoring in this car. All the performance is there, as well, being a Turbo S, the ceramic brakes, and we'll take a closer look at those in just a second. But it's an exceptional vehicle, just kind of in its normal guise as a Turbo S, before we even get to the exclusive stuff. So let's dive now into that. The most noticeable part, as I'm sure you picked up on already on the video, is the color. It's kind of a really interesting two-tone paint. So primarily, it's jet black metallic, which we see on a lot of our cars. But what's very unique is the chestnut brown on the side here. And not only does it have, this chestnut brown section, but it also fades out. So at the front of the car here, it's primarily chestnut brown. It just kind of fades out and blends back into that jet black metallic, which is just really exquisite. They did a phenomenal job, and you just don't see anything else like it, especially from a factory paint job. So that's one of the quite unique aspects of the car. And then just continuing from there, if you look at these wheels, this is the 20-inch Sport Classic wheel, and it too is painted in jet black metallic to match the rest of the vehicle. And there's a whole lot of little details like that we're going to go through that really exemplify the attention to detail in this car to really make everything match up so nicely and so cohesively. And then, of course, looking at those wheels, you can see once again those ceramic brakes. You get the bright yellow caliper to indicate that, and obviously exceptional braking performance. But let's walk around a little bit more to the front of the car and check out a couple of other little details. You've got the full LED headlights with this car, but not just the standard ones. They are tinted black as well to go with kind of this darker theme. And down on the front bumper, all of these slats here, generally they would just be unpainted black plastic, but here they're all painted as well, not only on the side here, but through here. Even this surround view camera housing, that's all painted as well. So there's really no corners cut with this car. Every little detail has been paid close attention to. And let's spin it around here and take a look at the back of the car. So as we come around to the back, you can see the tail lights have a similar treatment to the front, where they tinted those as well, again just to continue that theme. And your rear spoiler here also tinted, or painted I should say, and has the unique feature that the turbos and GTSs do, where they'll actually split apart. It's a really cool effect. We'll have an image there for you of that as well. And then even way down here, at the part that nobody would ever really see or pay attention to, all of this stuff is painted as well. Generally that would just again be left as unpainted plastic, but on this exclusive series, all of that is painted. So is everything even here around your plate. Really, really exquisite attention to detail there. And then let's take a look in the rear hatch here. There's a couple of details I'd like to point out to you. So as we open that up, of course you have your privacy cover here, but even something as kind of rudimentary as a privacy cover, they've paid very close attention to and really made it an exquisite piece. So you have, even on this tether here, very nicely detailed, very high quality. You just don't see that anywhere else. But also this whole cover is wrapped in smooth finish leather with the brown contrasting stitching, which I think is just exceptional. You never see a piece like that paid such attention to and brought to such a high quality. And of course the interior is so much more of the same. So let's now walk around and take a look deeper inside the car, and I'll point out some of those details to you. So starting off up front here, this is probably my favorite of, well, maybe, I've got a couple of favorites as we'll dive into, but one of my favorite details. If you look at the trim here, so it's a walnut trim, so fine, we sell that on lots of cars, but if you look closer, you can see that it actually kind of imitates the paint job on the side of the car. I talked about how, the Chester brown fades out. Well, so does the trim here. You have, you can see the wood much more in the front, and as you go towards the back, it fades into the black, which I think is just, again, an exquisite detail. It looks amazing. And then as well, while we're here, I'll point out these have the Burmester audio, the very top level audio system that we offer, and you get these beautiful silvered speaker grills as well. You can see even in here, this piece would generally just again be left as unpainted black plastic, but on this example it's wrapped in leather with that brown contrast stitch, which is carried over here as well. Just areas of the car that nobody really ever sees or pays attention to. On this car it's leather wrapped and just made to feel such high quality. In fact, even this here, these air vents are actually leather wrapped as well. They're not just plastic air vents. Those are in fact all leather wrapped. And there's a few other things I'll point out that are leather wrapped here that we almost never see. So if you come right down here with me, the seat base, this is all leather wrapped as well. Another spot that would generally just be left as unpainted plastic was leather wrapped here, and your floor mats, also a higher pile than we typically see with the floor mats, and you see that brown strip throughout the side. Just looks awesome. And there's even more. So if we come in tighter on the steering wheel here, on the inside of the steering wheel you have that brown contrast stitching to match the rest of the interior, and then even the steering column here has been wrapped in leather with, again, contrasting stitching. And then even in here, in behind this little piece that would generally be plastic, that's all leather wrapped with a contrast stitch as well. The closer you look at this car, it's just so impressive, all the little things they pay attention to. As well, your headliner is Alcantara, and in fact these sun visors are also leather wrapped. Generally they would be vinyl, and in almost every case that's enough, but when you touch these leather ones, just the tactile difference of having that smooth finished leather makes it feel so much more premium. It's pretty exceptional. And then of course, like all the Panamera Turbo S's, you have all of these options in here, lots of buttons. There's nothing that this car is missing. It has so much more than any other, but it does have that more standard stuff, such as your Sport Chrono package, adaptive air suspension, sport exhaust. That's all there too. It's not just the nice little luxuries. There are some other performance stuff. You're not missing any of that. Now let's dive into the back. So I mentioned, this is a Turbo S exclusive, but not just a regular Turbo S. It's built on the Executive, meaning the longer wheelbase. So this rear door is really quite wide. and you have more legroom than you would have in a regular Turbo S. You gain several extra inches of legroom, and there's a few other really unique pieces back here that I wanted to point out. So, of course, you can see the rear entertainment screens here. And I'll turn that one on so you can see a little bit of what it looks like. Whole lot of functionality there. They actually work very, very well. But, you know, a lot of cars will have rear entertainment. But again, here, if we zoom in on one of the details, if you come in and look at the back of this screen, this is all leather wrapped as well. Even that part that, again, nobody is really ever going to touch or, you know, barely look at, even that part is wrapped in leather. And I'll mention as well, the leather in this car is quite unique as well. It's an Italian leather that Porsche only used in this vehicle, and you can really feel a tactile difference. It's quite special stuff. And then now what you're looking at, this one is another one of my favorite details. So perforated leather, nothing new. Of course, we do that in a lot of our cars, but if you pay close attention to the shape of those perforations, they're actually designed to reflect the shape of the Porsche crest, even in the tiniest detail. And then moving on to the center console back here, just before we move from the back seat of the car, you want to come in through the front. Panamera Executive Edition's got this more kind of substantial rear console, but there's a few things that are unique to this exclusive series. So you have this larger console and you have your cup holders and things here. You also get heated and cooled seats. You have seat adjustment controls for the seats in front of you. So if you're sitting in the back, you can actually move that forward seat up a little bit and gain some legroom. And then if we open this piece up, this too is all leather wrapped, not only the top, but everything down here on the side of the console, leather wrapped. You have your headphones for the rear entertainment system, but then what's really interesting and unique is this part here. This too, again, leather, contrasting stitch. It looks beautiful. But if I open this up, you'll see it also has a cooler back here. You can flip that switch and keep your drinks cool, and it's really unbelievable the level they went to with this vehicle. And I didn't mention as well, these seats back here are power adjustable as well. So it makes the back seats almost as nice a place to be as the front. Please let us know what you thought of this new video format and of this car. It's such a special thing. We're more than happy to see your feedback and chat a little bit about it. Thanks again for watching.